Boss! Welcome to another Reneau Yoshukai karate presentation. Today we're going to be covering advanced self-defense techniques, and I brought two FICA world champions in with me to help demonstrate our self-defense. We're going to do everything in different sections. Our first section is going to be covering escapes, where I have Sensei Reneau Stowers, and her partner is going to be Tashi Todoroki. Boss, welcome. Now, when they're working up here, anytime you see the two of them, they're going to be doing what I call the escape self-defense, where her job is to quickly get away and be able to stop him from being able to follow her. Thank you. The next gentleman I have up is Sensei Stephen Arroyo. If you haven't seen his first videotaping, you definitely need to take a look at it. Can you tell us about the first video you did with us?
Yeah, the first one was entitled Anatomic and Physiologic Basis for Self-Defense and Joint Locks. And the purpose of the tape, what we were trying to accomplish, was to explain and display a little bit why the self-defense that we're doing here in these kinds of situations works the way it does. So it correlates very well with the tape you're doing here and gives a very good picture of not just how to do the movement, but why the movement works the way it does.
Great. No matter what style of karate you're from, this tape will help make you sound a little more educated. See, the way I started, it was, oh, if you do this, you're hurting the person by creating pain right here. But by listening to this tape, he's actually to tell you what you're doing, the names of the muscle groups, how when you hit that closed pack position, so that when you're teaching, you become a more educated instructor and a more well-rounded instructor. His partner today is going to be Steve LeVar. And the two of them are going to be working what I call destruction. All right. The sole goal here is anytime he's grabbed is to quickly eliminate your opponent from being able to react in any way. Quick strikes to knees, groins, eyes, takedown, follow-ups, these things you'll see. Where Sensei Stowers, every time she finishes, you'll see her leaving the floor in an effort to escape. Thank you.
Thank you.
My partner today is going to be Sensei Lance Barnes, who's going to be helping me. What we're going to do is a combination of a couple things. We're going to do control techniques where you can control your opponent and hold them. We'll do a couple of different situations. One where I'll control them, where I'll stay upright, looking around to see if there's any other attackers. Or I might do some sport moves where you get to see actual takedowns and locks that you might do in a judo match, or traditional grappling, and even some basic wrestling moves you'll see. When you view this tape, be sure you've taken a look at Arroyo Sensei's tape, my tape on the knife gun self-defense. It'll teach you a lot of your basic locks and takedowns and your more advanced techniques, and also on your children and women's self-defense. If you've got those, this tape's definitely for you and you'll enjoy it. Thank you.
This will be our first escape technique. In this case, the attacker grabbed with a front choke and discovered where the head goes, the body follows. Keep in mind when you grab the head, grab front and back, get a good twist, takedown, and a follow-up before you escape. In the destroy sequence, the attacker is getting the go-away button, strike to the throat, groin, elbow to the knee, face, taking the foundation from them, and then a couple of follow-up strikes. This is the classic Juji armbar, where we'll start with our attacker coming in, basic takedown, stepping over the face, locking the arm out, hips pushed up. Be sure and grab the wrist, not the hand, add a little extra power to the technique. Again from the front grab. Stepping through, taking the person over the hip. Quick strike, this time with a kick, and escape. In this sequence, you see the foundation being taken away, arm strikes, finishing up with a knee strike to the back of the head. This is a classic judo throw with a follow-up striking technique. Go into an arm bar with a step over toe hold. Stepping under, throwing the person over the top, locking the arm out. You can also place your foot in front of their face for an added choke position. This time with a single lapel grab, rolling the arm over, using the shoulder for leverage, and then a follow-up and escape. Again, using the whole body to roll the arm into the shoulder, taking the person to the ground, follow up, and escape. Single lapel with 5 strikes, taking away the foundation and finishing up to the head. Again, groin, elbow, breaking the back of the arm, strike to the knee, turning the head, and knee strike to the head. Follow up for the fun of it. Single lapel on the control. We're going to do a step over, spin and drop into the classic juji. We'll add a little choke, locking the arm out and getting the choking position. Again, this is a very disorientating move. The strike to the groin, step over. Your opponent no longer knows where he's at, striking to the groin, tucking his head for his safety, locking the arm, grabbing the wrist and pushing up. Sliding over onto my hip, getting the choke, toes locked behind the body for extra leverage. Single grab from behind, stepping around, quick knee, and then striking to the knee. Again, grabbing own head, knee strike to ribs, take the foundation away from them, and escape. Single grab from rear, turning, first strike to the elbow, knee, take the foundation, much like on the escape, and then follow up. By grabbing the back of the gi, you're adding extra leverage to your knee strikes, following up with shin strikes to the head, either side, front or back. Be very careful performing this one. Keep from pulling your partner's shoulder out. But on the street, as you step underneath, raise your arm up directly underneath their arm, reaching around, grabbing, locking your choke. In this case, her opponent was striking. Because she's small, she used both her arms and her full weight into the initial block. Then striking to the head, strike to the back of the knee, taking the foundation away, and running. Doing a block carry, taking the foundation and follow-up technique. It was your block, carrying it through, taking their balance, and strike to the head. Block carry check, this time sliding into a choke. There's the block, carry, come through, locking the choke, breathe in, pulling shoulders back, completing the choking motion. This time block carry, the quick strike to the ribs and escape. And block carry, quick strike to the ribs, taking the foundation and escape. Keep in mind, on all escapes, the idea is to get away from your opponent. This time, instead of carrying the block, he stops it, reverses the direction with a quick strike, strike to the knee, then step under to take control of the opponent and take him to the ground with a follow-up. The better the martial artist, the less you have to hurt someone. However, always be ready to do whatever it takes to defend your life. As opponents striking, dropping my center of gravity, striking up in the groin, fireman's carry over and follow up. This is a classic reverse wrist lock where you're taking your opponent's weight and their initial inertia, pulling them forward, reversing the motion, quick strike, and escape. Again, pulling them forward, turning the wrist, strike. This time was a kick to the face. Keep in mind, the better the martial artist, the less you have to hurt somebody, but there's a time and a place for everything. And sometimes being able to follow up with several techniques can save your life. In this case, I started for the choke and then changed my mind and went for a classic arresting procedure, controlling his arm, stepping over, keeping control of his head. Lock, elbow strike to the face, knee to the body, locking my arms behind his shoulder to pull him down, keeping my center over his head, pivot, controlling both arms, and add a little control of the head for the fun of it. When you're controlling somebody, the idea is to be able to take them to the ground and hold them for as long as you need. Simplicity is sometimes the best form of self-defense. In this case, we're doing a quick block, taking the upper, breaking the balance with her left hand was on his hip, pulling him backwards and off balance to the ground. Working some of our classic wrist locks. In this case, he's blocking to the outside, grabbing the wrist, stepping under, going to the closed pack positioning. Again, using the classic wrist lock, but I'm going to follow up by putting my heel under my opponent's throat and sitting on the head. This is closing off the arteries on each side and then using a wrist lock at the same time to control my opponent. Change sides so you can see it a little easier. Grab, turn down. My heel slip underneath his throat as I drop down. I've got control of him here, but I'll add the wrist for a little additional discomfort to my opponent. Self-defense, advanced self-defense, involves a lot of timing. In this case, with a quick, easy down block to the outside, breaking the opponent's balance, and then a follow-up strike to the groin leads to a successful self-defense. Arroyo Sensei will do the initial move and then follow up with strikes to the base of the skull and the spine to help disable his opponent. Notice the added left foot sweep before the kick. This technique requires a lot of quick timing to keep your opponent from being able to use his hands against you on the initial move. Done quickly, it's difficult to do, but done slow, you can see where he might be able to strike with the hands. But moving quickly, he ends up on his face. You're able to control his legs and lock his body up. When performing this self-defense, be sure and keep your non-blocking hand up around your face for those that are able to kick with multiple round kicks or kick high. Then control your opponent, take them down, and follow up. A disabling technique is any technique where your opponent can no longer continue to fight. Requiring advanced timing, being able to get inside your opponent, keeping your face covered, quick sweep, following strike, kick, completing your victory. This is a little more advanced self-defense, using their own balance, taking them off balance, following into a full choke, using the arm to roll them over, and then locking the choke, completing my breath and stretching my legs to add more pain to the technique. Again, grab, protecting the face, step under, strike to the groin, step over. My hand will go right underneath the throat, sliding through in a cutting motion, pulling his arm over, heels to his groin, locking in the full choke. When I grab, I'm going to stretch my body out and attempt to take the head off his body. This time when you're on the ground, your attacker's on top in a full mount, you're going to roll by controlling their leg and their outside arm. She's working escape, so she's breaking the leg lock, striking the knee, and escaping. So again, the opponent's on top. She's going to slide her leg on top of his and control the outside arm. Roll him over. She's now on guard. She'll break the hands, roll the guard, quick strike to the knee, disable your opponent, and leave. It's time to destruction. Quick basic takedown, take over in this case, followed up by a quick choke using the elbow and forearm into the throat of your opponent. Again, grab control of the hand. Where the head goes, the body follows. His leg's over his leg to keep control there, to keep him from breaking the foundation right into your choke. Same over. Except this time I'm going to step over into an ankle lock, controlling my opponent. Done from the other side where you can see it a little easier.
Let's do a slightly different angle so I see it.
With my opponent on top, the first thing I want to do is try and change that position. Control the outside of his body, turn him over. Quick strike to the groin to distract him as I lock the ankle and step over, turning his body and go into my arm and ankle lock.
Yeah.
And every now and then when you're in that lucky position of being on top, going straight into Juji classical arm bar, following with a quick strike to the ribs and escape. Again, she's going to control the opponent by locking the elbow down, stepping across the face, quick break on the elbow, strike to the ribs, and escape. Keeping your face covered to protect yourself, blocking the technique and going straight into your choke. Again, face covered. Quick parry block, sliding and shifting your weight, going into the full choke and choking your opponent out. Opponent on top, I'm controlling the outside of the body, sliding it over, blocking arm, and then sliding through, grabbing my own arm for the triangle choke. Once again with the opponent, from the guard, grabbing the arm, sliding it over, pulling his head in close to keep him from being able to attack, controlling his arm, wrapping around his own neck, and then sliding through, controlling my arm for the choke. On top, setting up for a little extra leverage. Notice the heel went down the shin to help distract her opponent. And then instead of fighting the strength with pulls, she's sliding up like she's taking the jacket off quickly. Several different sides. One side, other, and then slipping through. Driving her opponent to the ground, quick strike, and escape. From a rear choke, stepping under, strike to the knee, taking the foundation, and follow-up technique. Again, loosening up technique, grabbing the arm, stepping through and underneath, striking the back of the elbow, taking the foundation, grabbing the head, knee strike to the head. If your opponent can't think, they cannot react. From a full bear hug, again the distracting move, by taking her foot down the shin of her opponent, then grabbing high up, dropping her center of gravity into a complete throw, follow-up technique, and escape. Okay, stepping underneath my opponent's power, sliding through, grabbing, stepping under, and full choke. When my opponent grabs, I'm stepping under. My head goes under both sides of the arms, protecting my face. Slide through, wrapping my arm around their neck, grabbing my own lapel at this time so that I have good control of my opponent. I'm now going to drop, roll, taking my own body weight into the choke to complete the motion.
I hope you enjoyed our video presentation today on our advanced self-defense techniques. Remember, we covered a very small percent of an incredible world of self-defense. If you want to learn more, come visit us at our website. That's yoshukai.net, YOSHUKAI.net. And we'll get you all information on our other videos, such as our women's self-defense, our children's self-defense, knife gun, anatomically correct self-defense. Come see us, and we hope to see you training. Next thing I'd like to do is real quick give one big hand to our partners and Okies that helped us today. Lance Barnes, Steve LeBar, Tashi Todoroki. And to Sensei Stowers and Sensei Arroyo. Your help was invaluable today. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed it. Kyoshi, Ray, Thank you.
Be sure not to miss former World Weapons Champion Derek Pendergrass in the Advanced Competition Bow Tape. There's also a wide range of tapes available to help you become a better martial artist, such as Anatomically Correct Martial Arts by Sensei Stephen Arroyo, Knife and Gun Self-Defense by Shion Jim Reneau, and many more. For more information, please contact your local distributor.